YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. And today, we got some tight end duo rankings for the upcoming 2020 NFL season. Recently did all kinds of trios, duo rankings, and we're kind of finishing up here with the duos. A couple more position groups to go, then we'll start ranking units, offenses, defenses, players by each position. We'll do a full 32 for those, so can't wait. A lot of content on the way here at the Goat House. Please subscribe to both of our channels. Recently hit 50K. Let's get to 60K next. You know, we can get there in no time, I feel like, so appreciate everyone's support. Maybe a year from now, 100K. So we're going to keep grinding here and then trying to match the subscriber rate on our second channel. More content coming to that in the future, so please subscribe to that. Check out that Twitter. Always keeping you guys involved in future content. Always talking NFL. A lot going on in that Twitter, so it's a must follow. And then we have a podcast as well. And the recent episode we did on that podcast was definitely my favorite one. I believe it was episode 13, so go ahead and check that out. A link in the description in the comments, every single video for anything that you see on the screen here. So anything that you need, check those links out down below. Would really appreciate it. Like I said, 12 duos ranked here, but there's actually a 13th, a sleeper duo. The reason I ranked, that many is because there's not too many great duos because some teams don't value the position as much maybe as others, but there's a lot of them that are pretty close, tough to split up. But the sleeper is going to be the Denver Broncos, a very young, athletic group here. Noah Fant and Albert O. Definitely one that will continue to be on the rise, well inside the top 12, top 10, top 5 maybe going forward in the future. But for now, we'll put him here. But I like this group. Noah Fant, everyone was kind of high on Noah Fant coming out of Iowa just a year ago in that draft. But, the athletic, freaky guy, maybe it'll take a little time for him to, be more than just that athletic speed tight end, but he was actually more impressive than I thought he would be, and that was with Drew Lock only playing how many games down the stretch of the season. So he was actually very impressive, more impressive than I thought he would be in year one, and especially especially with the quarterback changes. So I like Noah Fant a lot. And then Albert O was actually, you watched the tape for him, was much more impressive 2 years ago at Missouri, and that happened to be when his quarterback, Drew Lock, was there. So that works out. I mean, they had a strong connection really on the sideline, but mainly in the red zone, which, having another one of those kind of jump ball experts, to pair with Cortland Sutton, who's their top receiver, I think is perfect. Could play on opposite sides, obviously. And, that's goal line fade situations. I think it's perfect. Given that the receiver unit they have with these tight ends and how they value the tight end position, I think somebody's going to be open. So there's going to be some good production here. So definitely one for the future. Number 12 is going to be the Houston Texans, a pretty balanced group. Jordan Atkins and Darren Fells here. So, any given time you can argue one's better than the other. They do have Jordan Thomas. They got other guys that can step up as well, but this is a pretty good group for them, last year. Seemed to do some work in the middle of the field, and maybe they could get better at the position, try to find more of a top-tier guy to help Deshaun Watson, but these guys, a guy like Atkins is really coming along, still I think has some upside, so they come in at number 12. Number 11 is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Jonnu Smith is really impressive lately, really improving. And I think another step up. I think it was kind of his breakout season last year, kind of. But it could be even more of a breakout season this year. An athletic tight end. Anthony Ferkser kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody knew who this guy was. Came out of nowhere, really fit in, was really good in the red zone for them. So it's a really good pairing, and I think these guys really didn't get their identity or really didn't get rolling until later in the year. Because I don't think the offense really had their identity. Not just the quarterback change going from Mariota to Tannehill really changed things up. So they kind of really figured themselves out, and that's when these guys started to get going. So now what are they going to do in a full season together? So it's kind of a sneaky good group right there. Number 10 is going to be the LA Rams. Higbee and what was Gerald Everett, but I think Bryson Hopkins will kind of play that role. In terms of the entire season this year, maybe I'm expecting about 50-50 between the two. Maybe Everett a little more earlier, Hopkins a little later. Hopkins has the tools to be a freaky tight end. It's just about catching the ball. He'll have the spectacular catches, but then he'll just drop the ball. But I think he'll be good. I think it's a really good fit. And then Higbee, won't be replaced. They trust him a little more with the blocking than the other group of guys they have, and it seems like he's improving every single year as well. So, nothing spectacular here. Still kind of the question mark. Will it be Hopkins? Will it be Everett? Hopkins got to catch the ball a little better, but has that tremendous upside in receiving ability. scoring ability, really. So, yeah, it's tough to put him any higher, but it's a pretty good group overall. Number 9 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. This is a tough one to rank because I almost want to put them much higher, really. Will Dissly is a beast. This guy's he's been really good when he's on the field. And then Greg Olsen, maybe one of the better tight ends of the last how many years, several years. And these are two good football players, two really good tight ends. Will Dissly's young. He fits that offense really well. When he's been in, he's been dominant. The question is health here. I think I had to drop them a little bit to where I think their talent is because you hate to say it, but you almost expect there to be injuries within this duo right here. It's tough to say it, it's tough to think it, but you almost expect it at this point. If they're fully healthy, it's much better than 9, but you kind of got to split the difference there a little bit. So I'm hoping they stay healthy. Mainly Will Dissly, such a young player and such a good fit, and you see how much better they are with him in there. So I'm hoping they stay healthy here. Number 8 is the Steelers. Kind of a sneaky one. Eric Ebron. A lot of people like to rip Eric Ebron, but I think he'll fit pretty well with the Steelers' offense here. More of that receiving tight end. Much better downfield. You need to be able to sling the ball downfield, for Eric Ebron to kind of work out here, and that's exactly what the Big Ben offense is. We know that, so I think it'll work out. Vance McDonald's been, say just a little above average tight end. You love his toughness, but I think now having a guy like Ebron with him could actually make him better. And they have the receiver group too. They're going to use Chase Claypool in unique ways. So can that take away from somebody like an Eric Ebron? So that's kind of the question mark there with that. But I think he fits very well. I think it's like one of the perfect spots for him to go. So I think they'll have to use him pretty much here. So they're number 8. Number 7, give me the Raiders. Darren Waller, obviously, one of the better receiving tight ends, was highly productive last year for them, and that was kind of his first year, kind of breaking out, getting going. And then I don't have Jason Witten here. I have Foster Moreau, the young tight end from LSU. And this is a sneaky tight end. I think he's sneaky athletic. He racked up quite a few touchdowns last year, which kind of goes unnoticed. And this guy's just getting going. I think it's a good pair with Waller. I think this is the duo. Jason Witten's there to play, of course. Maybe a little blocking, to contribute in that way, which they needed. But maybe for his veteran leadership perhaps as well. But I think this is kind of the more talented duo of the Raiders. Foster Moreau is a guy to look out for sure. Number 6 is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. It's a tough one, too, because I almost want to put the Vikings higher, mainly because Irv Smith. Irv Smith was one of the top tight ends of last year's draft class out of Alabama. Crazy productive. Vikings didn't really use him early. They finally kind of got him going, figured him out. This is a crazy athletic tight end, which I think there'll be a lot of opportunities for this year. I think he's going to really step up this year, almost break out. Then it's tough to figure out Kyle Rudolph because we're talking several years ago. He was kind of known as, not top tier, but kind of close to the section of better tight ends. One of the better tight ends in all of football. It kind of went away for a little bit. There was some injuries, and now these last couple of years, he's like bringing it not to where he once was quite, but. He's really, it feels like he's getting better, but where does it drop off again? So that's the question. He's kind of their jump ball guy, their do-it-all tight end. But banking on Irv Smith improving this year. So it's I think they complement each other very well. It's a good duo to have on the field at the same time there. Number 5, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, Andrews, I guess similar to the Vikings. Yeah, maybe Rudolph, it's easier to say he carries the group a little bit, but yeah, similar thing here. Nick Boyle, they did get going, though. They signed him last year for a reason. Now they don't have Hayden Hurst anymore. So Boyle's going to be, I think, more productive. Mark Andrews, he's on his way up. He's still getting to where he needs to be. That's the kind of the scary thing, where he's already at in his young career and how he's, become their number 1 target there. And then number 4 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, another group that's carried a little bit. Travis Kelce being one of the better ones in football helps this group. But Ricky Seals-Jones, the former receiver, bigger receiver, obviously, turned tight end a few years ago. I think he works out in this Chiefs offense. It's pretty easy to think that, but I really think it does. I think his receiving ability, I think it's a perfect situation for him, so I'm banking on him improving and this being a pretty darn good duo. Number 3 is going to be the Cleveland Browns, Austin Hooper and David Njoku, and they actually drafted Harrison Bryant too, so they got that good group, and there's a reason they're valuing the tight end position that high, because they bring in Kevin Stefanski as their head coach. He's also an offensive mind. He values the tight end position very highly, and you kind of need multiple different tight ends, and you see the difference here. This is almost like where Stefanski came from. You look at Kyle Rudolph, Austin Hooper. Kyle Rudolph's definitely been better than Austin Hooper, but Austin Hooper's kind of the younger version of him going to his second team, going to that fancy offense, maybe the great fit. And then Njoku is like that Irv Smith, that athletic, almost receiving-like tight end. So it's the perfect fits. And then you question Hooper. I always actually thought he was a little on the overrated side. There's a lot of people that believe it was kind of system-based for him in Atlanta, but I'm liking that where he's at. Again, this is a perfect fit. He'll get his production. They'll use him for blocking, for their running game. I think it's a good fit. There is no reason that he'll decline. I think there's a lot of other teams he could have went to where I thought he'll decline, but because of the fit, because of the system, it's either be about the same or he'll actually improve. He's got to stay healthy. And Njoku, I think, will almost be used as kind of their third receiver, actually, after Odell and Jarvis Landry, of course. So this will be an impressive group. It's mainly about fit here. This is mainly about fit. I know there's some more talent, Travis Kelce, other guy, Mark Andrews, guys we talked about, but it's a really good fit. They'll be highly productive here with the Stefanski offense. And then number 2 is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rob Gronkowski, maybe the best tight end of all time. And he's back. He's back with his quarterback, Tom Brady, and he's with the Buccaneers. So we know he'll be productive. How good will he be? Will it be the same Gronk? I think people worry about, I guess, maybe his weight. He looks a lot skinnier, but is a professional athlete for a reason. I think he'll be able to get back to that. Maybe not quite as productive as he was, but I don't think too far off. You could go Cameron Brate. I went with O.J. Howard. I think having Tom Brady, I think the offensive line getting better, having Rob Gronkowski, have the receiver unit better, creates more opportunities for O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard needs more of the accurate quarterback, I think. I think that with the nice touch passes, and that's what Tom Brady. That's the difference between Jameis Winston and Tom Brady. Winston more of the gunslinger type. So I think that kind of works out. So I think Howard would kind of be their number 2. And then you have Gronk. You question if he can stay healthy. I expect him to, but maybe he'll miss some snaps. So that kind of get more production to Howard and maybe Cameron Brate as well. Number 1 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, and you could argue the Buccaneers because, like we said, Howard's going to be better. Gronkowski, we already know he's damn good, and he has Tom Brady. And the Eagles don't have that Rob Gronkowski. But 2 things, they're really not too far off with Zach Ertz. But Dallas Goedert, you can't forget about his upside. He's still growing. He's still getting better. So I think it could be a breakout year for him. Maybe he can start to catch Zach Ertz, which is interesting. But Ertz, really clutched down the stretch of the season when they needed him most, as expected. Do it all tight. I think both these guys are really do it all tight ends. See Goddard maybe a little more athletic in the open field, but it's a balanced duo. Even though Ertz is known as one of the better ones in football, that's what makes this one the best because it's balanced at the same time, and you got a guy that's going to continue to improve. So that's why the Eagles are number 1 for me. But that's going to do it for this one. Please smash that like button. Let me know your rankings in the comments, your thoughts. Would appreciate seeing those. Subscribe to both of our channels. Follow us on Twitter. Link in the description and comments for everything that you may need. That's going to do it, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.